Okay, so welcome everyone to a special edition of Film Score, the Culture Watch edition. We will be looking at small acts, Lovers Rock, and it's divided a community, people that were there back in the day of the time of the house, dance and shebeen, and a new generation that are introduced to that culture and of a different generation of today. So we thought it'd be great to kind of have everyone come together and have a debate to explore the culture, to explore the representation, and to really examine the significance of this piece of work, and to really take a trip down memory lane. So I'm from Fade to Black. I'm Sophia Ramcharan. This is my colleague, DJ Psychomantis. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, DJ Psychomantis, partnership with my home girl, Sophia, with Fade to Black, creator of Vision Bombing, and Mad DJ with a Mad DJ name.
And we have a great partnership with Nubian Link, Jeremy Prince and Kwabna. Would you like to introduce yourselves as well?
Yeah, Hotep. I'm Kwabna, one-time DJ, but very much, very much just in the backgrounds, watching the likes of DJ Psychomantis and DJ Prince who run things. But yeah, been a founding member of Nubian Link since the early mid-90s, and very happy to be part of this event tonight.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeremy Prince, and again, one of the founding fathers of organisation we know as Nubian Link. I've been working with Sophia for quite a few years on various projects, so it does give me great pleasure to be involved with tonight's event. And it was really interesting how this sort of pop-up stream came about, because there's been so much interest in this particular production that was aired last week. So I hope we can get some good debate on both sides out of tonight.
And we have an extra special guest.
Sonia, I'm extra special. No, I suspect that I've just been invited because I'm the old person who was actually around during what people are calling the Lovers Rock era. I'm sure it was much more than that. My name's Sonia, and I think I've just been invited because I was around back in the day. But I enjoy it and looking forward to the discussion.
We have somebody else who's joining us, Eva.
That is Eva, which I believe is my auntie. Hello. She's just unmuting, so I'm sure she'll have her say in a second.
Hi.
Okay. Hi.
Hello, Eva.
Hi.
Nice of you to join us this evening.
Yes, there's two things going on, isn't there?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. We're out on YouTube and Facebook, and there's a lots of different events. But it's glad that you've made the right choice. Can we get to see you at all?
No.
Oh, wow.
I've been having a fighting session with my hair today.
Wow. That's another Zoom event, that is.
Yeah.
We're going to kick off with Jeremy. You're going to play the trailer. For those that haven't seen Lovers Rock, it was aired last Sunday. It's available to watch on BBC iPlayer. But we thought to set the scene, we'd play the trailer so people can get a flavour of what we're talking about if they haven't seen it. So over to you, Mr. Jeremy Prince.
There we go, folks. Action.
Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. There's a real understanding of, I think, who we are in these stories, or at least an effort to. And they're human stories. I think people will be touched. I think people will be moved. And most of all, I think people will get to a point where they feel that they've sort of achieved something. There's a real achievement in these films, not in the sense of way of what we've done, but in the sense of the way of what these stories are trying to sort of translate, the sense of an achievement in a way.
Lovers Rock is a love story. It's the story of a 16-year-old girl,
Martha Trenton, lives at home with her mum and dad.
who leaves her house late one night
Her first night out, it's already exciting.
to meet her friend in the park and go off.
To her first blues night.
Bring you the sound from near and wide, giving us spiritual protection.
Blues parties were a particular feature of West Indian life throughout the UK from the 40s to the 70s really. The house owners would empty their houses of furniture, bring in a large sound system, do big pots of catering and bring in beer and then charge an entrance fee at the door for partygoers.
Hold on. Got money?
Patty is the best friend of Martha.
You have to dress to impress.
She's gonna keep you safe and she's gonna make sure that you have the best boy at the dance, you know.
I only appreciate how beautiful you look. Name Franklin.
Come.
Franklin is a young man who's just going out for a good night at a party. This particular night, he meets a young woman called Martha. Can I beg you to dance?
If you want.
And it's just showing their relationship within this night, how it can go from a dance to something stronger.
Steve McQueen. I think he's a genius, as we all know.
Steve is incredibly motivational and just inspirational as a person.
He gives you the space to really find something and it becomes your work.
He brings a vision and he's telling these hard-hitting stories beautifully. He's telling them gloriously in a way I don't think anyone else would have been able to.
He's so down to earth and he's so real.
There's endless possibilities working with him, which is really refreshing.
I really hope that the younger generation will come to them because not only are they a record of a piece of history that is passing, I think they have a highly educational value as well because of the authenticity and the truth with which we're trying to tell these stories.
They're so important. They're lost histories in a way, the histories which haven't been sort of illuminated and shared and valued.
Well, there we have it.
Yes, indeed. So how many watched on last Sunday? Did you all watch it last Sunday? We all assuming that we've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what were your immediate thoughts to Lovers Rock?
Well, I'll kick off. I love the music. You know, as a music man, I thought, you know, the music what really drew me. I did get lost a little bit with the story. I kind of understood the start, going to a party, but then there were, you know, other little side stories. The cousin and Bammy, you know, the guy with the big hat and who looked like a rapper Exhibit. There's a lot of little side stories going on. So I didn't really, and because I focused so much on the music, I did kind of, you know, lose the sort of thread of the show. But I watched it again. I've watched it twice, and the story hung together a lot better for me. And I actually thought it was all right. And when I read about it, I was clear that it was fiction based on a time and a place in the UK. I didn't think it was supposed to be a faithful reproduction of history like Mangrove the week before, this was fiction. It was a story based around a particular time in the UK, around the UK lovers rock scene. So I was, I didn't expect it to be, historically accurate to the nth degree. I knew there was going to be some artistic license in the story, but for me, it was all about the music. I love the music from beginning to end. And that's what, it really reminded me, some of the music of growing up in Nottingham. Even though it was a bit before my time, that scene, but I remember that music was very much a background of my childhood.
So are you sort of saying that you don't mind the reimagining of, would you say it was a reimagining of?
I don't know, I wasn't there at the time, but I could relate to, spaces being cleared, to make room for a party, the plastic covers on sofas, pots of food being cooked and stuff like that. I mean, I was amongst the children that would often be upstairs listening keenly to what the adults were getting up to, that, and maybe getting half a bandish shandy bass or snowball or something like that, but I never partook, I never was part of that scene, but I was on the edge as a sort of a young boy, sort of, and hearing older cousins talking about these parties as well. But for me, it was all about the music. The music reminded me of growing up, from Dennis Brown, the Investigators. It was all in there. Louisa Marks, and obviously the iconic track. So
yeah, and I think that's part of the problem. Is Steve McQueen and Quabner and Jeremy, you were at the edge of the Lovers Rock. You were the children upstairs. And I think Steve McQueen probably did it from that point of view. The little bits that, he, was getting, rather than researching deeper into, the people who really experience Lovers Rock. I think that's part of what the problem was. He didn't do a research. He kind of was the younger one, like you, Quabner, and, most people on here, I think. I don't know. And that's why the storyline was based on a 16-year-old. Now, Lovers Rock is not based, I mean, yes, 16-year-old used to probably, jump out the window and go to Lovers Rock, but, I didn't think that's what the storyline should be based around, basically. And I had issues with the rape scene, I
think the context was there for both of them. I just think that the story was too small to incorporate both of them in an easy way. So we saw how someone could be raped by going out with a stranger into a garden. It happens at parties everywhere. It's possible for it to happen anywhere. It's not necessarily something that was we would be looking for within the context of a blues or a house party, whatever you want to call that. So I think it's the two events that people don't like very much are events that could have happened anywhere, yet he puts it within the context of this really short film. It felt very short to me, that was supposed to tell us about the culture of what he calls Lovers Rock. Rape is not a part of the culture of Lovers Rock. It's a part of the culture of Western society. As is lesbianism, or what lesbianism, different sexualities is a part of the culture of the world itself. It's not simply, it wasn't necessarily put very well within the context of Lovers Rock, the culture of Lovers Rock. So I think that's why it felt really strange. We have these big things that come from society plopped into. And yes, I think they tried very hard to make it one story. And we did see how the threads came together. So I think, Ava, a bit, I might disagree with you a bit.
Sorry, Sonia, do you mind, can you switch up your mic a little bit? There's
me?
Yeah, there's a few comments that your sound is a bit low.
I think my sound is low because my machine is really cheap.
Can you push up nearer to the machine?
I can push up closer to the machine.
Was there something in there, what you were saying, Sonia, about a short film and trying to deal with so many issues in that short space of time, and just didn't really cover anything, you know? So perhaps a less is more approach would have been better. But isn't that indicative of our situation? There's such a lack of films or documentaries that represent our culture in this country, that when we get an opportunity, we just try and cram everything in, because who knows when we're going to get the funding to do something like this again. So just get everything in one time. So I don't know.
I think somebody mentioned that it could have been done bit documentary style, so that you could see some of the artists, you know, the song behind, or the artists behind the songs.
Well, to be fair, Melanik Shabazz did do a documentary called The Story of Lovers Rock. And he had Victor Romero, Janet Kay, an artist. That was I can't remember how, that was about, what, 6 years ago, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is a sort of live action dramatization version. And I think it really invoked the vibes. Are we sort of romanticizing or being too precious about that period of time, do you think?
No, I didn't see any romance there. So.
I mean, I'll just sort of jump in with my 2 pennies worth. I think the views that you were saying and what I've heard so far are sort of kind of valid. I felt there was too much being squeezed into a small space of time. So there were so many different representations of our community, and I felt it was all kind of thrown in. And it wasn't making sense to me. It wasn't all gelling together. There was too many sort of different issues that were being, integrated into the storyline. So it kind of lost me in a way. And I was saying to Kwabena earlier, one of the issues I think I had is it was the mismatch between expectation of the movie and what I actually witnessed. And I think I must have built myself up with a different kind of expectation in terms of the title, Lovers Rock, the fact that it was Steve McQueen who's directed it, and Dennis Bovell involved, and I was expecting something completely different. So I think I was kind of surprised with what was presented, and ultimately I felt a bit disappointed. I just didn't feel authentic to me. Now I do understand that some people absolutely loved it as an art piece of art, and visually it was stunning and everything, but I personally didn't enjoy it, and I was just a little bit, it wasn't what I was expecting. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it.
I have to agree with him. When I first saw the title Lovers Rock, I myself started to think, okay, will this be like the Victor, Janet Kay and Carol's theatre show? They did the Lovers Rock monologue, and when I watched that, which was, I think it was in 2016, that brought me back memories, because I was that young kid that was dragged with my dad and my uncles, because they were that age, that was their generation. And watching the film, I thought, okay, yeah, the house, I remember the sweaty walls. I do remember the plastic covers on the sofas. The women was in the kitchen cooking up the food. The men were sorting out the sound equipment. I related to that point, but there was issues where I thought, okay, the issues I had was the sound system, the guy who was on the microphone. Coming from a DJ's perspective, I thought to myself, if that was really a sound man on the microphone, he would have got pulled off.
Yes.
Because he weren't doing his job properly.
I agree.
There was another bit in there where he said rewind. If I remember, rewind was not invented at that time. It was not invented at that time, and it didn't happen on that little record player. That wouldn't have worked. Rewind came out like a few years later. That was non-existent. So that was another error, I thought. 2, the mash pit dance where all the men got together. That was non-existent again back then.
Is this the 12 tribes thing?
Yeah, when all the men went in, and then when one of the guys took off his shirt, I thought, no, that's definitely wasn't us. I did have someone on. Well, he's a friend of my dad, and I used to go to the gigs with him as a youth, and he made a very strong comment. I wish I could play it now, but I will repeat what he said. He said because he was disappointed to the fullness with this film, and he says no one would have jammed out or shot out like a punk rock gig. That's what white people do, not the blacks at that time. That's what whites would do. And a man would not get on the floor to get scruffled up and dirty his clothes. A true lovers rock or reggae man, whatever you want to call yourself at that time, they go there in a crisp suit and they leave with a crisp suit. That's straight up. And I agree to that, because I remember watching my uncles and my dad took their clothing seriously. The only time there'll probably be a crease unless they was winding upon a woman real hard. That was it. So I've watched the film twice. The first time I was like, the Janet K, to me, I thought, well, it's a classic song, but I felt to myself, you're good at destroying a classic song right there. That's not the only lovers rock song that was ever made. The other one was when, I forgot where I was going to go with this part. Oh, sorry, yes. The other part was when they were singing Janet K's part. I just thought, how long are they going to go into this a cappella for? I was really losing interest. Me and my partner was watching it. She said, like, yeah, this is killing. And as far as I can remember going back, I never remember. I mean, it might happen at other gigs, but the many gigs that I went to as a young kid and what I learned, I never remember an a cappella going that long. The DJ may turn down the bass if we're headed treble, and probably people sing along to it, but he'll bring the bass back up. But that dragged on too long. But when
that's what I mean, the artistic license.
Yeah. Well, yes. I was about to come to that. Let me come to that, because I do know the choreograph, the one who did the dance choreograph. I will explain her side of the story. But with saying that, with the music regards, it was, sorry, when I watched it the second time, I couldn't help but cringe. I started to cringe more and thought, yeah, I'm not enjoying it like I did the first time. I enjoyed the memories. It really did give me a flashback of like, yeah, I remember that time. But watching it the second time was like, no, and I don't think I could watch it for a third time.
I went the other way, because again, I was so just looking forward to the music. I didn't really. I kind of lost interest in all the story side. I only got interested, and in fact, when it went into the dub-wise and steppers, that was when I got out my sofa and tried my little 1 foot skank myself. But I didn't drop to the ground and roll around.
I say, Kwabena, you know age to do. You know age to do that anymore.
But when I watched it the second time, then the story knitted together for me as well as getting into the music. So for me, I actually got more of a holistic picture, if you like, with the story and the music.
What was the cross about? What was the cross all about? The cross.
I think that was like the because that came in towards the end, because the sister Martha left, sneaked out the house, remember, kind of, to go to this party, and basically got back in bed unnoticed, and was woken up by a mum or some relative to go to church. I think that was the symbolism of that, the kind of the conflict that young people had, about the secular world and the religious Christian world that they were perhaps fighting with as a teenager. That's where I saw the connection there, the clash between the secular and the religious world. I mean, that and for me that kind of made sense. Again, second time I watched it.
So it's the clash between the righteous and the unrighteous.
Well, it's. I mean, I don't know. Has anyone watched the Lovers Rock? Because
what Shabaz's video documentary.
No, it was a theatre play featuring Janet Kay, Carol Thompson, and Victor. Well, the reason why I brought that up is because what he just said about the girl sneaking out and then coming back early in the morning and rushing to the bed. I don't know if it was Janet Kay or Carol Thompson said like similar story, but they had to lie to their parents and said they was going to a friend's house and had a big coat on. Underneath the coat was the garms that they wanted to go to either a blues or a house party. So the sneaking out thing, I never did sneak out, but I relate to it saying, I knew they had to do that because the Christian parents was not tolerating that, the blues or the Rastafarians, whatever they call it, they looked at it as like, no, that's the devil thing. That's not the right way. That's not the path to go on. So that part I thought, I relate to that. I know a lot of young girls had to sneak out. I suppose the young boys, that they had their excuse, whatever way, just to get to a mission, just to get to the dance.
I don't actually. I think as someone who went to dances from the 70s through the 80s, 90s, and so on. First of all, I think the question of authenticity is one that I think I separated it from it straight away because it was a drama.
Yeah.
It was fiction. Someone made up a story. It was always difficult to represent the life that I had lived because them two men don't know me. The two people that wrote it don't know me at all. And I've never documented my experience. So far, in terms of that era, what I've seen different dramas about it. This was just another drama. I thought that they got some issues wrong. So they merged blues with clubs, with club life. You know what I mean? So in club life, if you've got a whole night playing music, you play different types of music. And there is a time in club life where the men took the floor. And there may have been one stinking man that took off his shirt. But that, I don't know in 10 years how many times that would have happened. Do you know what I mean? This happened, everything happened on that one night, and it didn't seem that long a night for it all to happen.
Well, this was going back to the issue I had, Sonia, in that it just felt to me that too many episodes, too many incidents was all being rolled into the one session.
But it didn't. I think it only took away from the drama because I knew that didn't necessarily happen every night you went out to a club, every night you went out to blues. It would only have taken away from it because of your experience, which is why if you looked on Twitter, the discussion was totally different from the discussion on Facebook. The younger people loved it. Older people who had actually been a part of it really were disgusted that their experience wasn't represented. I didn't really care if my experience wasn't represented. I actually thought the thing held together well. It's held together well as a drama, and it's good that it was made. I think it's much more difficult to do a drama, to find a whole story within a dancehall culture. I don't think that they did enough research on the difference between something that would have happened in a nightclub v what happens in a house party, or even the blues. So the blues, the way that they represented the blues, it almost felt like it was the 1960s.
Yeah. What do we all think about the fact that this was aired prime time? You can't get more prime time than really Sunday evening.
Excellent.
BBC One.
That is an achievement. That is
great.
Really making a bold statement about this piece of work, and quite rightly so. I mean, Steve McQueen is a brilliant director, and as a piece of art, this was exquisite in its delivery. I suppose, like Sonia said, you know, it's like divide between memories and going down nostalgia and memory lane, and the accuracy versus a piece of art.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I think that's what I meant about, are we too precious about this? Are we romanticizing this too much? Can we just accept this as a piece of work, a strong piece of work? If examining this.
But because, as I say, that there's such a paucity, a lack of these things, our expectations are that much higher. Yeah. So if these sort of things were a regular occurrence, then we would accept it as, you know, yes, another drama. But because we have so few of these things, they come by every 5-10 years or whatever. We expect so much, you know, and people perhaps did get upset about it not reflecting, you know, what we do or our culture in a certain way. I mean, I thought it was quite hilarious how, you know, the sisters were saying, well, black women have got the sit pan toilet seat with squats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought, I didn't even look into that. But yes, I know that. I've got 3 sisters, I've got a mother. But as I say, something as small as that, people need to be represented correctly. And I thought it was funny, personally. But people say, well, that's not us. We don't sit by toilet seat, we squat. You know what I mean? And we don't go to toilet by ourselves. Women go to the bathroom in pairs. You know what I mean? So,
but does it really matter? I think that's the point that we're trying to question.
Them it does. Them it does.
If someone gets to social media to make that point, make a video about that point, then it does matter to some people. It doesn't matter to me. But clearly it matters to some people who were there at the time.
You're getting it wrong. In order to understand the era and the context, what blues really was, we went to dances in the houses of strangers. We went to dances with loads of strangers in very small, unregulated areas. Quite often, a blues was held in a flat, like in Hyson Green, the whole Hyson Green flat. The places could be nasty.
Yes.
That's why you squatted. Just like someone who used to go to raves in warehouses, or if you went to the warehouse culture, you squatted outside near the building wherever you were. It's a part of the actual culture of the dance itself. So I think for me, the criticism is good, because next time we would hope if this brother, if McQueen includes it in the other things that he's doing, because it shouldn't be taken out of, it should be part of the mangrove. It should be part of the other 3 or 4 movies that he's making, that he does it better is all. This was his first attempt. Next time he will just do better research, because the authenticity should be there.
And well, the mangrove, I don't want to get sidetracked with the mangrove, but what that came on the week before, that was a real historical event, and I thought that was brilliant. It was well received. People who watched it, you know, as obviously Steve McQueen is famous for 12 Years a Slave, which again was a real historical event. So is it because that it's easier to sort of replay a moment in history rather than fictional drama. So maybe his strength isn't fictional drama, but his strength is...
No, the people who were at the mangroves were just as angry, who knew the people of the mangroves, were just as angry about the representation of those people.
Okay.
You know, or if you've ever met Darker Town, you know he just isn't that nice or that weedy as he's presented in the mangroves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think fiction, and particularly drama in that way, is always difficult to portray. And it's very rare that the people who are portrayed see themselves in it.
Yeah.
I agree to that. I did say to me and Sophia did have a little 20 minutes talk yesterday, and I did say it's like Spike Lee. You know, he's done numerous of films. Let's bring out, you know, Malcolm X. And I did say, like, well, I'm sure those people who were there at that time will turn around and say, Spike has brought out the light of what happened, but it didn't exactly go on like that. And it's the same what I will say with Steve McQueen. It's like, well, he's showing people an era, a time, a culture. He may not be direct on the accent, because I felt the acting was a bit off and on.
Yeah.
But again, that's just me. Some people will turn around, because I've heard, well, Curtis Walker, the comedian, is one of them. He turned around and said, like, well, not everyone was speaking in a Jamaican accent. You know, most of them were speaking in the London accent, because some of them were born there. They were the first generation there. So, but the thing is, a story has been presented. If anyone wants to go deeper, then they shall look and seek to find out what really happened. But at the end of the day, they've been introduced to something. Yes, the older generation, it will touch them more because they were there. For the younger generation, they probably will like it because it was like, raw, is that how it is? I mean, I was in the dance, going back to the dance, I know the person who choreographed that, and she said to me that that Steve McQueen, there was a moment when the dancers were really getting wild, which obviously went into that mash pit kind of thing. And Steve McQueen said, let the dancers do the thing, because there was in that moment, they were just enjoying themselves. So he decided to obviously let that play out where it wasn't in the script. So in an artistic world, director, I think he just went into a creative director mode and thought, yeah, let that go in. That's his artwork. Whether it worked or not, whether it pleased the people on the outside, because we know that kind of thing didn't really happen, but it definitely was an artistic thing. So the choreographer who originally did the dancing, she said that wasn't in the script. She had it down to a T of how it was supposed to be, but because they was enjoying themselves so much and then they went all wild, they decided to leave that in.
Do you think there was an element? I'm just going to jump in. I'm asking a question to Sophia as a cinematographer, videographer, whatever them call them, filmmaker, film maker. Do you think there might be an element that he was stretching it out to fit the time allotted for a BBC One production on a Sunday night? So maybe it actually originally meant to be a shorter film.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly don't know the constraints of this production. It's a 5-part series. I think, you know, it's an attempt to make a definitive Windrush box set. Probably something that people, you know, will show their grandkids in the future and say, reach for the box set of Windrush, small acts, let's watch it together, and they'll go down memory lane. I think that, well, what we do know is productions happen in the edit. So you might shoot, and like Sacramantis said, you know, you'll get some footage and then you'll add it in and you think, oh, that's shaping up in the edit. What's on script never really happens as is. It's always a creative process that can change in the edit. I feel that we don't know what formats was prescribed. We don't know whether it was fitting into a slot, the BBC One, whether that's going to translate differently to Netflix or even America if it goes there. So there are many different constraints, even down to the selection of tunes. To license music for production, it's really expensive and can be quite difficult. There's a lot of works that are orphaned. You don't even know where the producer is or who produced them, particularly if they're white labels from back in the day. So that could be an explanation as to why Silly Games was like an extended dub remix in and who knows?
That's true. It's a good point.
Yeah, I do.
You know, because Dennis, the producer, was actually in the scene. Dennis Bovell.
He wanted his money.
And he was a songwriter for Silly Games.
Exactly.
So, you know, who knows what conversations were had. Silly Games was, in this particular piece, felt to be maybe the definitive Lovers Rock tune to hang it on. I would have loved to have seen
Janet Kay.
Janet Kay. Like, I would have liked to see more of an intergenerational element to the house party. You know, I would have liked to have seen the story develop from the afternoon a bit more. I would have loved to have seen a Janet Kay character cut the tune and then bring the tune to the dance. You know, it could have been, if we're talking about Silly Games, we could have wrapped the story around it a bit more. But who knows, Jeremy? Who knows what constraints they had? I think they made decisions based on the parameters that were available to them.
Can we just talk about the extended remix of Silly Games? Because I actually enjoyed it.
The acapella.
I enjoyed it, and I'll say why. Because it not so much the length, but I think I understand how a tune can make you feel, and you kind of seen how people were getting into, almost like they were becoming possessed, if you like. You know what I mean? Like spiritual. And I've been in parties as a punter and a DJ where I've just lost myself in that tune, in that moment, and I actually love that. I know it's unrealistic that that doesn't happen, because a selector plays, you know, the verse, the chorus, and next tune, you know, rinses through the tunes, as it were. But I liked it. I like that as a piece of art, a bit of cinema, how the music can make you feel. You know, as Bob said, you know, when the music hits you, you know, you feel no pain, and that's kind of what I got from that.
But Kwabna, in the context of a film, it was featured quite heavily.
Yeah, you had at the beginning in the kitchen.
The kitchen scene.
Yeah.
Then you had a pull up. Then you had the full.
Drawn out too much, man. Too much drawn out.
I was waiting for the music to come back on, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so was I. And I was waiting for them to be singing a church song in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Good point.
Very good point.
It would be more likely they would sing a song that was associated to all of them rather than just a couple.
That's very true. That is very true, because I do remember, like, at house parties, the young kids would, you know, they're more or less generating to the reggae, but the grandparents were always religious and would always hear religious songs. So,
and at the time, we all sang religious songs at school.
Yes.
We went to, well, here in Nottingham, we went largely to Church of England schools, so we knew the religious songs.
Yeah. Can I just at this stage just have invite a little interlude, because one of the things we did when we set up this session was to invite other people, members of the public, to express their opinions, and we call it the Culture Watch Hotline, or the Vex Text. We've got a couple of comments, and I've got some voice memos which I would like to share with us. One's about 4 minutes long, so you'll have to bear with us, and another's about a minute long. But I just thought we could take a bit of stock and, you know, quiet ourselves up for a moment while we just listen to these views, and maybe we can comment on that. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna
run the track.
Run the track.
Run
yes,
the track,
1 second. So I'm just gonna go in.
Lecter, come.
Tommy.
Hold on.
Yeah. Also, as well, just if we could talk about the Black Love feature as well, because that was one of the positive things that came out on social media as well about the depiction of Black love, which we don't often see. But anyway.
Okay, ready? It is one comment. I think it's. Let me know if you can't hear it or not. Right, so that's not playing. All right. I'm going to have to try a different thing.
This is live, people.
It is live. This is live.
Live and direct.
Yeah. The problem is with WhatsApp, I have to turn it into a different format. I'm just seeing if it's...
I just wanted to leave a voice note.
Oh, here we go.
It's B here. I'm from West London, so I just wanted to do it from a West Londoner's perspective, as well as a person that grew up in the Lovers Rock era as a teenager. I mean, from the age of about 13, I was going to some of those dances all over London, not just West, but a lot in West London, but not just West London, but all over London, East, everywhere, North, everywhere, South. And you know, it was like that. And I was around a lot of the reggae, the Lovers Rock selectors, Diamonds, the girl best friend, all, you know, Sir George, Sir Lloyd, and, you know, I was around them all. And the parts I had big contention with were, I'm just going to talk about those really, is the fact that they try to make it look like a man can come to a blues dance in a house, rape a girl in the garden, people have seen it and witnessed it, and that man can still be in the dance acting like nothing's happened. That doesn't make sense at all. That scene was just ridiculous. I don't think that would have been it. I mean, if someone's told Courtier, whoever wrote that part into it, the story. Another thing I've got a contention with is Courtier Newland. Courtier, you should be ashamed of yourself, my brother. You're from West London. Like, how can you let someone like that person who's come in and said they were doing research come in and edit, because he edited that movie? That means whatever you told him, the real truth, he's changed it all around to make it look like something it isn't. I don't know under whose orders, I don't know who's funded this movie, but whoever the funders are, I don't think they really like us. First, and the reason I'm saying that is it's not true to life, that part there about someone raping a girl in a dance and getting away with it and everyone's just cool with it. No. And then furthermore, that section about men, the guys, the sounds coming around with the men and they're doing the dances, skanking the Rustas. Rustas used to skank. They never used to throw themselves on the floor and take their clothes off and start screaming like animals. That looked like a let's go out, get out of St. Charles mental health wing for the weekend kind of crew around that sound. That was disgusting. I've never seen anything like it in my life. My whole family was sound men. I was a sound woman. I was a selector for a long time, playing Lovers Rock and all kinds of music. So that was not true to life. It was just atrocious. It was embarrassing. It was degrading to our men and to Rastafarianism and the sacredness of it. You know, we are people of listen, we deal with vibrations, especially Rastas, and I come from a Rastafarian, my family, my brother, my mother. Listen, that was outrageous. They should have got a Rasta man or woman to help them choreograph that scene of how Rastas used to skank back in the days, because that was just a joke, an absolute joke, and it made it look like there was some animals in a zoo. That's what that scene looked like. It was so scary. And it went on for so long. I had to forward it. That's how bad it was. I couldn't watch it because I know what they're trying to depict, and it just was so far away from it. And Steve McQueen, whoever you are, my friend, you've got a clue. You edited that movie. You were joint screenplay writer with Courtier Newland. I think Courtier was writing it and you was de-writing it. I don't know what you thought you were doing, but no, you got off the mark. And another thing that I got a problem with is, I noticed that he's had rave reviews and all these Washington Post and all these people. They have no clue about our culture. That means the whole world, if they're watching that, they're going to think that that's how we really were and how we really are. So that's a very bad misrepresentation of your own people. Whoever's funded that, they've given you the green light to... I feel like, I'm going to say it. It was like you raped your culture. That's what that was. It was cultural rape, as far as I'm concerned. Without an apology, and I think it's disgusting. I'm disgusted. The good things about that movie, the costumes, the dancing between the man and the woman. The male and female parts were beautiful in that, actually. It was more true to life than any of the rest of it. The man and woman, the man to woman stuff was good, but when it got onto the man to man business, I don't know what kind of what he was drinking the night he edited that. But Steve McQueen, I don't know what you was on when you did that with the beautiful boys, as you said in the BFI interview. There's something wrong. That was some kind of fetish that I saw going on there. Men taking their clothes off and rolling around the floor like it's a mud ring or something. Black men, Rastafarians. That's impossible. I mean, I know you showed a part on there where they smoked a chalice, which is supposed to be full of weed. I don't know what was in that, but it looked like some kind of guys got out of the hospital from the zoo or whatever kind of scene. It was animalistic and savage. It was like a savagery. And you've tried to portray your own people like savages, and that's so far from the truth. And the world needs to know this, because you've just done a whole rape. As I said, you've raped our culture, Steve McQueen. I'm not going to speak for Courtney Newland because he hasn't spoken for himself. I noticed when you did the interview, Steve McQueen, you was in it by yourself. You talked about Courtier, but you haven't let him speak for himself. I wonder why. Courtier. Where are you, Courtier, my brother? Where are you? Why are you not speaking on behalf of West London? Because you're part of it now. Your name came up on the credits. We want answers, and we want to know why you've depicted our culture like that, Courtier. Come on. You know what West London's about. You know what it's about. You know our legacy. Come on. Anyway, thank you, Culture Watch, the Nubian. I think it was Nubian. I can't remember, but yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I loved it.
Could I just say, there is a interview with Courtier where he said he wanted to make an art house film. So he comes out quite openly and says that's what he tried to do. Make an art house film. And that's what that is, an art house film. We've all said it's a really exaggerated depiction of what may have happened, or parts of it are really exaggerated.
But with that in mind, does an art house film belong on BBC One on a Sunday night, prime time?
I don't know about that.
But also, it was supposed to be black culture, and it really didn't, come across. I don't know.
I must admit,
was so disappointed.
I concur. I didn't understand that mosh pit business myself. And I've been to some roots and culture dances and seen people stepping beautifully without having to throw themselves on the ground. But one thing I would pick up from that again. You said I'm sort of focused on the positive, because I think she had some valid points there. I don't really want to counteract her points.
Yeah, can I just thank B from West London for making that contribution as well? So thank you so much, B.
Yeah, thank you, B. But I thought that the point about black love, the man and woman, the skirt to pants business was good. You know what I mean? And we don't see enough of that. You know what I mean? We don't see enough of that. Black
skirt to pant.
Skirt to pants.
You don't see enough of that.
No, we don't see enough of that. Man. We see more.
Jeremy, behave yourself.
I understand, but it's an overall story. It's not. Yeah, the dancing was very important. The rubbing of the wallpaper, and all that. But I just don't think it was. As she said, the whole thing just looks so jumbled and such a. It's just messy, and I think it was just portrayed in the wrong way. If we're trying to say to the white we're not doing it for the white population, we're doing it for the black
everybody.
If we're trying to point out this is culture, black culture, I don't think that was a good representative.
Okay, can I just play the other comment now? I'm not sure if it's the same person, but this one's only a minute long. But again, respect to the people who made use of the Vex hotline and the Culture Watch facilities.
I like that.
Because that's what it's here for.
Sorry, who invented that name, Vex hotline?
Well, I invented Culture Watch. Jeremy came up with Vex hotline.
I love it.
That's classic Jeremy. That's classic Jeremy.
It's an easy name to remember. So I'm just going to share this other one now, if that's okay. Right, let's just go in. This one's is going to go in now and go in. Just let me know if we can hear this. Right, ready?
Okay.
And one other contention I did have was
Same person.
to do with Janet Kay's silly games. That was, if I've never seen so much overkill in my life. How can you just? I mean, I know we loved silly games. We did love it. We used to sing it, yes, as female, mostly on the dance floor when they used to be playing it. And I don't remember men singing along with it like that. The women used to sing, but I heard a man's voice, deep bass in it about. Sorry. That was for the girls. Yeah, anyway, but it was overkill. I mean, Janet's going to get the royalties for the song being in the movie, but weren't there any other songs that you could have, you know, I don't know. We liked other songs. There was, 15, 16, 17. There was a lot of songs that we loved as young girls. Like 15, 16, 17 were a group of 15, 16, 17-year-olds that did a song. Like there were so many songs that were anthems to us, not just Janet Kay, Jean Eddie Bambo. There was, going back to country, all of them, all the different singers. Come on, there wasn't just Janet Kay. It was more than just Janet Kay. Yeah, she was number one in the pop charts in the 80s. Yeah, come on. That was just overkill. I'm sorry. It was. But apart from that, but like I said, it was nice to see that there's a movie. And the two, I mean, you weren't sure at the beginning, because I didn't see any trailers for the movie, so you weren't sure at the beginning who were the main protagonists in it. But I later on found out that from your advert, actually, you guys, that it was young Mr. Ward and the young lady. I love the way they depicted the hot comb stuff and the heat. All of that was great. The costume design, the design of great. But the other stuff that I just said in the last, no. But thank you again, as I said, for the platform.
Brilliant.
Big up B from West London. She's our star.
Just while we're on the music as well, can we just clear up the thing about Carl Douglas and Kung Fu Fighting? Because I remember hearing that playing regularly at home and at parties, but on social media people said that never play in a dance or whatever. But I used to hear it at home.
Yeah,
I heard it in house parties.
That used to be played a lot. Kung Fu Fighting.
It was in the chart.
It was in the chart.
I don't remember it being played as a dance, but I remember it.
Yeah,
when you listen to the charts at 6 o'clock, the top 10 or whatever, top 20, but not as a dance.
Did it belong in the blues? And you, Kwabna's arguably yes, because it was played. Sound Systems, Soundman did draw those tunes. I personally didn't feel it didn't feel right in the context of what the DJ was playing, and that came on. It was like a misstep. It was
but also as well, was that classic thing about a reggae man thinking he's playing soul but not really playing soul, because they played Sister Sledge before that, and are you thinking, come on, man, you know what I mean? The world of soul and funk has got more than that, you know what I mean? But that was a typical reggae man selection of soul music.
Maybe he was just a really bad selector. Maybe there was a character.
I think that there were different sound systems. Some were more really hardcore in terms of the music that they're playing. Others weren't. And I know in Nottingham here, you could go from, in terms of clubs, you could go from Radwai to a blues. So I think that the film itself actually mixes up different contexts. So if he had done a bit more research, it would have been better. If it had been there himself, it would have been even better. He would have known even better. But as far as I can see, we seem to want to represent what was a really large culture, a wide culture. So I think that blues in West London was different from blues in Nottingham, simply because we would have had different sound systems. Even in Nottingham, if you got the really heavy sound system, yes, you did get a whole entourage of brothers that stood together and danced. I've never seen the nakedness. It seems that I would have gone if only it was that. No, I'm joking.
Sonia, you wasn't lucky enough.
No, what I'm saying is we were lucky enough to be entertained by a range of different sound systems.
Yeah.
And they all played different types of music. Some of them played rubbish. You could have gone to a dance that was so rubbish, you left before the food even started to serve. Some dances were good. They weren't all the same thing. You know, the way we're talking is if everybody went to the same dance and got the same feel. Some dances were horrible and smelly, and you're left before anything even happens. Some dances you dance throughout the whole night.
Well, I just want to jump on to this thing about the ratings and the reviews, because I looked at the sort of the usual suspects of newspapers, and they really rated the production and the film. 5 stars, terrific, brilliant, all them kind of words.
The question is, who's the one that's giving these points? What race are they from? You'll always have someone out of our race, and a newspaper like that will give it high rating. Oh, it's colourful, it's great, it's
exotic. I'll use that word, exotic. Say it.
But if you give it to the black people, if they was owning the Sun or whatsoever, that would have got like not even a star.
I think
they got fire and say Bunda beside it.
No, the Guardian article was written by a black.
I think they were pandering to Steve McQueen. I think.
The question is, how black is that person in the Guardian?
Does it matter? Does it matter?
And the question is, how black is the blues that you went to? So you could go to a blues that was Naya Bingi Rasta blues. You could go to one that was pop music blues. There are many. Their range is so wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was called Lovers Rock, so it's
the film was
called Lovers Rock.
But the event was a birthday party, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First and foremost, it was a birthday party. So in a birthday party, you would expect soul, a bit of disco, some reggae across the board. That bit I get. But it was this fusion with calling it a blues, and then you got my man, the 12 Tribes, rolling about on the floor with his vest off. That looked like no birthday party to me.
I couldn't watch the movie a second time even. I was that so disappointed. I couldn't watch it.
So
I couldn't even watch it properly the first time.
Jeremy, your point about the reviews, are you saying that?
Well, yeah.
Positive, isn't it?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So surely that's all the boxes ticked. That's success. It's been applauded. It's been bigged up. It's been given top ratings. Who knows? Steve McQueen may get an award for this.
Did they actually watch it, do you think?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
What did the voice have to say?
How many people watched it?
Yeah, we all watched it.
I don't have to.
Oh, you mean the actual numbers? Well, it was on prime time on a BBC, Sunday evening on BBC One.
Partner had a number for the first one.
Well, I didn't have a number, but well, I can't remember. I shared something on social media.
1.4 million, you said.
Yeah, Mangrove had quite a low.
So what did this one? Do we know
viewership? I don't know what the viewer ratings were for small acts, but for Mangrove the week before it was quite disappointingly low for a prime time slot on a Sunday.
But I think people's viewing habits will watch it. You've got access to
catch up,
so they'll do the catch up thing. So I think the figures will work itself out.
Well, I'm not surprised because I don't think the white population were going to watch them anyway.
As long as it's music, they will. As long as it's music, and it was music.
No, I mean all the first one, the Mangrove, and the others to come. I think I knew the rating was always going to be low.
Then that questions.
If we all watched it, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, but it questions why it was programmed for BBC One. Then
but Steve McQueen explains that on his interview.
There was scheduling, wasn't like I'm a Celebrity. Didn't that launch the same week as Mangrove as well, at the same time? So possibly, I think the figures will iron itself out. I think the audience will find it, and I think this is a long-term game.
Yes,
I feel like this will this is a legacy piece.
Yeah, because he said he demanded prime time. Why shouldn't we demand,
Yeah,
you know,
I
and
agree.
you know, that, yeah, he did say that in his interview.
Yes. So I think there's a couple of points to make that have been made.
Is this on YouTube and social media? Is this?
This is on YouTube. I've not. Do you want to check Facebook?
I've been looking on YouTube.
Mangrove, I enjoyed. Lovers Rock, I didn't. Part of my history that felt tainted. DJ Sacromantis, lol, 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 lol.
What was that?
Enough lol.
DJ Sacromantis, lol, lol, lol.
So, somebody, you give joke to somebody, Sacromantis.
I must have.
Enough joke. We had different sound systems in London too. The sounds from London used to play in country, where we are clearly. So it wasn't that much different. Funky Sound Man would draw them tune there. Carl Douglas was real, but Bad Man never broke out to kung fu fighting.
I agree to that.
Thank you for the Vex hotline. I needed to use it. The big man voice was Dennis Bovell. I won't say the rest of that comment.
You can't translate it.
No. It should have been called Silly Games, not Lovers Rock.
Yeah.
I work in the music business, so would have contacted owners of the Jetstar Records catalogue. They have all those songs on compilations. Okay. So who was choreographing the skanking? Question mark.
Oh, I can't say. I know who.
That's okay. I'm not going to say that one. Women did go to toilet in pairs, especially in blues where you didn't know anybody. Yeah, just mixed. Burning an Illusion as a film has been mentioned a few times. So for those that haven't seen that film, that's Melanie Shabazz's film.
Yeah,
I thoroughly recommend a view of that. And they mentioned that it's a great reference for Lovers Rock as well.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, just to squeeze this in, some of my friends from uni says that if you was disappointed with Lovers Rock, you should watch Babylon to recalibrate and restore your faith. Watch the film Babylon, and that will reset everything. But
Jeremy, have you got any comments from Facebook?
Nothing really that's notable from what I can see. Maybe I've got the wrong. No.
You got the right Facebook page.
Possibly not. Have you got access to the Facebook page, Sacromantis?
I'll have a look
I've got Wi-Fi problems all day. So
I'll have a look now.
So while we look for comments, I'm curious as to what people think their definitive Lovers Rock tune is. Let's go around.
Yeah, I'll kickstart off. I think, to me, that tune, Silly Games, is the definitive Lovers Rock anthem.
Okay.
Personally, only because I wasn't really from that generation. I'm a little bit younger in terms of going out. only a little bit younger. But for me, if somebody says, play me a definitive Lovers Rock tune, intro to Lovers Rock, I probably would drop that Janet Kay classic.
Louisa Mark, 6th Street, sorry.
Yeah.
Louisa Mark, 6th Street.
Caught You in a Lie?
Or Caught You in a Lie. Anyone.
That was drama.
Leave It As It Is, I think, was featured in the film. But Caught in a Lie or 6th Street.
Anything from Carol Thompson.
Yeah, Carol
Thompson.
Kofi.
Gina Dabamba.
Yeah, Kofi.
What's that one? Proud to be.
Sing it, Sonia. Sing it, sister.
Kofi, that's it.
Oh, what about Gregory Isaac? Dennis Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Dennis Brown.
In the film as well. It was featured.
Winston Reedy. I love the Winston Reedy.
John Holt.
Brown was in there.
John Holt.
Brown was in there. because I took a mental note, well, an actual physical note when I watched it the second time.
You just Shazammed it, didn't you?
I only had to revert to YouTube twice, so I was quite proud that I was able to know most. And the song at the end, the outro song, Nikki Thomas,
yes,
is my mum's favorite. That is
Have a Little Faith. Have a Little Faith.
Oh gosh, that is a tune. But it's not. I don't think it's from the Lovers Rock era. That's from like the 60s, or I mean, that's a bit earlier. But that is a tune. I mean, yeah, the music. I mean, for me, the disappointing thing is that we because of the story and people's indifference or dislike of the story, we've lost out. Actually, there were some great tunes in there. Yes. Silly Games was overplayed, overkilled in that film, but there were some great tunes in there that were featured. And me personally, I actually went to draw for some of those tunes after the show to play them in a fullness.
I think it's around soundtracks. The Spotify tracks are going round. So the soundtrack was good.
It was. The music was excellent. Yeah, it was. I can't fault that aspect, apart from the elongated version of Silly Games. I think it was a bit too long, even though I love that tune.
It didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
So, going back to the trailer where the producer Tracy mentioned that this is a piece of history that's passing, do you think...
What?
Pardon?
What did you say?
When Jeremy played the trailer, the producer said that, this is a piece of history that's passing.
Oh.
Has it passed?
Of course it has. It was past history. But people are still playing Lovers Rock.
Party situation, pardon?
People are still playing Lovers Rock.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the music is timeless in a sense, but it is of an era, isn't it? It represents the 80s, I think.
Yeah, I think that kind of house party, because I think Sonia and the sister that phoned in says, the days of going to a party of a total stranger, I think that's done. You're basically invited to a party where you go to a party where you know the person or you know people, but I think that sort of party where you get basically walking off the street, I think that's finished, but certainly Lovers Rock isn't finished, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of revival of the genre. You know what I mean? In terms of, that stage show. As we return to them, that stage show is going to come back. That I can see a lot more love being shown for Lovers Rock.
I've got some comments from. There's only a few comments on the Facebook.
Okay.
Someone says that they made us look wild near the end. There's a lady here that says it was a set piece according to Steve McQueen. Don't know what that's supposed to mean. Someone's just put mad. Another one says, do you think the a cappella singing was to show togetherness? Someone's put, I love the music more than anything. It brought back so many good memories. Someone's put laughing out loud, but her hair wasn't straight. So I take it as the part where she was having a hair done, but the hair wasn't straight. Good point. Someone's put, I love the episode. That's the few on Facebook.
Okay. I've got a few more comments about tunes. Bitty McLean, Walk Away from Love. It's a bit contemporary, but it's still a homage to back in the day, isn't it? Silly Games is the anthem from the Link Agency. Police and Thieves. Natural High, Claudia Fontaine. Black is My Colour. And actually,
that's the one I was singing.
Yes.
Black is My Colour was sung by a white girl. Did anybody know that? I didn't.
Really?
Really?
We need to probably fact check that. I'm not sure.
I think we need to fact check that.
That's not Jean Adabamba?
Not sure. Country Living, Sandra Cross, At the Club, Victor Romero Evans, Slacks and Sovereigns, Victor Romero. If I Gave My Heart to You, John McLean. Slow Down by Private Collection.
Going deep. Someone's going deep.
Going in deep.
There you have a blues.
There you got a blues.
That's a blues.
No, you don't. You didn't have a blue that just played Lovers Rock.
No
Well,
comment.
that's a good point, actually. That's a good point.
Do we have any other games, Joe and Prince, to play? Any other?
No, that's all the Vex Hotline imports we've had. So big up B from West London for that.
I want to join this Vex line.
Hopefully in future future editions, because I'd like to kind of extend this for kind of this format for future things. We can utilize that a little bit more. I noticed some people are very shy to put their voice on a recording.
Well, let's keep the watch on culture. Keep Culture Watch going.
Well, it may be a thing that, obviously we are in week 2 of a 5-week series, aren't we?
Yeah.
So maybe, the esteemed guests, panelists may come back again at the end, and we can have a look back at other shows, including this one as well. But we can look back on the series of 5. But yeah, thanks for everyone's comments. I think it's been a good thing to do, and share some views and opinions on it.
Yeah. Well, I thought if everyone wants to say some sort of concluding words, I was going to play "Have a Little Faith" by Nicky Thomas to play us out.
What, man?
but before we do that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in this particular session, and also our viewers live on YouTube and Facebook. So it's been it's been a pleasure having you tuned in and making your comments. Anybody else want to say anything to finish off?
Well, despite everything, I think I'm thankful for Lovers Rock program to remind me to go back to those music, because I've been playing it in my walk when I've been walking, since Monday. So it has made a difference. Anyway,
changed your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, the brilliance of the music is kind of lost by the story in the end. Although I got it second time around, I think for a lot of people, the story really sort of took the edge of what really could have been a real iconic piece of film. But I love the music.
Yes, I mean, I'd like to say that when the dust settles, I think we will look at this piece of work as a great piece of art, and we will come back to it in years to come. I think Steve McQueen and the producer Tracy, they've done an excellent job of giving our community proper roles on a primetime drama, and on screen and behind the scene in terms of the writers and the cast and the crew. And I think they should be applauded for that. And I think when the dust settles, I think we'll all relax into what it is. I think we'll be okay with it.
I think that it will move our younger people to go back and look at Burning and watch Burning an Illusion. Is it Under Pressure? I think one of them is as well. And also, even more so, to find the documentary by Menelik Shabazz, which in terms of authenticity grounds this one to, we really realised that this was a total fiction. Well, much of it was fiction. But I would more say to young people that they should go back and look at the record and talk to more people, because I think I really do compliment the brother on taking this step, because it was out of his wheelhouse, but he still did it. And for that, I give him props. It will be done much better next time. And because he's done it so well this time, that's why it will be done next time. And I think that what we have lost is the wider picture. Part of the wider picture is, we don't want to stay within this framework of representation. But the brother did it so well. All the technical things, he did well. We will have a next time, because they can't say no after how well this brother did what he did.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll just say, I mean, I agree with what everyone else has just said there, but I really truly suggest once this COVID goes down and theatres can open, watch the Lovers Rock manual by Janet Kay, Carol, and Victor, and get a real true view from their point of view, from the people of the UK. That's all I got to say.
Fantastic. Wow. Can anybody hear anything? There should be some music playing now.
No.
DJ, come again, DJ.
Do you want to play music for you? Since you sound like you're having a bit of sound trouble.
This is the point you take the mic and start.
Oh, there we go.
All right, rewind. This is how you do a rewind and pull up. Okay.
Acapella.
According to who?
Are we not going to do an acapella?
I'm coming back in there. Can you hear this? Okay.
Just want to end the show with.
And the one you love, Let's try it one more time. Have a little faith. And the one you love.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Till next time, look forward to seeing you all again.
Fade to black.
Yep, fade to black.
You know the days are cold and the nights are so long, yeah. And I just need this little woman who I could call my very own. But some of her friends told her bad things about me. And I just need this little woman to believing and to a little bit of faith. Good God, keep the faith, baby. One more. You know I went to her house on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. I took one look at that woman's face, and don't you know that everything was